Peace, family. We are live. We thank everyone for tuning in. This is Vocal Dialect, Season 1, Episode 10. The title of this is Theft of the Black Gods. You can check this picture out that we're going to be discussing tonight on Tubi or Amazon Prime. I have in the presence of me, my partner, Kenwado Akil. I also have a brother, a very powerful brother that came down. I had a great build with him during the Malcolm X Fest. General Shaka Sankofa. How y'all doing, man?
Peace to the
Good.
gods. Peace, peace.
This guy, man. I like this picture, man. Theft of the Black Gods, man. And the way he described everything and put everything into context, he unpacked a lot of information. What were some of the points that you like, Ken?
Um, I like the points on how they got all their superheroes from our deities, man. I mean, he broke it all the way down with all of them, from Superman to Thor to Spider-Man to Magneto, Xavier, Phoenix, Storm. You know what I mean? He showed where it came from. Superman. He showed where all of that came from, man. I had to look at it a few times. Like I say, it was some things that I knew in there, but it was a lot that I didn't know. You know,
If you had a chance, go
he
ahead, Shaka. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ken.
yeah, he explained uh the dominant gene, the X factor, where they got the concept of the X-Men from, like the whole layout, man. It's a must see. It's a must see. What you liked about it, brother?
It's a lot to unpack, man. One thing is for sure, I want to definitely get into the I think it's Photo 51. You guys can Google Photo 51. The X gene was real important to me. That is
Right.
something that I'm always on and studying, things of that nature, dealing with Photo 51. And Photo 51 is Henrietta Lacks. And that's where you get the X-Men's logo, which is the which is the X chromosome. So on the X chromosome, it's the mutated gene, and a lot of people not familiar with Henrietta Lacks. Google her and check it out. Photo 51, dealing with the X-Men logo and all of that. It's definitely something that us, as Black people, should definitely check into and look out. Had a lot of There's a lot of information pertaining to the X gene, and not just the X gene, but the DNA. Our DNA sequence is the future to all evolution. A lot of things in our DNA have not been unlocked. That's why they're always trying to keep us at a low vibration, a low frequency, and we must always research and do a lot of research. So the X chromosome, you guys can Google Photo 51 and you can see the picture of the X. If you Google Photo 51, you will see the X in the circle. That's just like the cartoon dealing with the X-Men, and you will see it's dealing with mutants. And Henrietta Lacks had a mutated gene. Um, very something that we should definitely be looking into, like that. So, hey Ken, let me ask you this: what do you like about the Superman, the way he described it? What do you like about that?
Oh man, how we stolen from us? You know, God of the sky, how you broke down Kale, what Kale meant and what L meant. You know what I mean? It was basically stolen from us. I like everything about it.
Yeah, that's very good. How he broke down, talked about how Superman was salvation, how Clark means clerk,
Yeah,
means to serve,
Kale
and
mean black and L mean
yeah,
God.
right. He was breaking down the normal name for Clark Kent as far
Yeah,
as as far as his name. You know, Clark is clerk, it means to serve, and Kent, you know, is Old English for white. So
Yeah, Kent for white.
and
Yeah.
you know, the way he broke it down was, you know, Superman was their savior. You know, kind of right now how Trump is their savior. You know, but that's another topic for another day. Right now, we're talking about how the information has been regurgitated down and given back to us, and how it has been used to manipulate us with white superiority, and knowing that these things that they have put before us has actually came from us.
Yeah,
So,
so
Shaka, did you go ahead,
KL
Ken?
actually KL actually mean the black god of the sky. And you know that was taken from us.
Right. Did you get a chance to check it out on Brother Shaka Sankofa?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I checked it out a few times, and you know the what I got. It was so much, like you said, so much information. You can't. It's impossible to digest. Watching it just one time. You know, but you know the part about they talked about everybody loves a hero, and but the villain is supposed to be just as strong as the hero, and which when you look at it, especially from the point of when Edgar Rice Burroughs, who was a white supremacist ice monkey, talked about and created that Tarzan character
Yes.
to crush everything dark. And these types of images that we watched coming
Right.
up placed us in a submissive or subordinate mindset, and then the behaviors follow. This is why everybody gravitated to the Cowboys opposed to the Indians, the Dallas Cowboys opposed to the Washington Redskins. All of those particular dynamics, and then how they always save the white woman from the black villain, in which that to me was a precursor for all of the lynchings that took place, uh, primarily in the early 20th century, where most of these lynchings, our ancestors were falsely accused of raping or victimizing white women. So that whole dark image that they portrayed, which they weren't doing nothing but imitating us,
Right.
but they flipped the script. And how also about how they took all of our stories and you know kind of formatted it and sold us into these books, because a lot of people don't know, and I didn't even know about the Hindus and Persians who really stole a lot of Kemetic history prior to the Greeks and the Romans, the Roman invasion of Kemet. And so how and now they sit back as if they're innocent when they were the originators of plagiarization.
Mm.
So you know it's so deeply entrenched that the deeper you go into it, you know how you know they talk about the what is it, the Christopher Walker, the Jesus walks, and how
Right.
Superman ascends in the sky just standing in midair like the so-called white complected cracker Christ. You know, all of those particular images that you know ultimately played into our psyche and has been like the fertile ground for our self-hatred and low self-esteem, and looking at white people as God-like and savior figures. You know, even in DC and Marvel Comics, where they have these thousands, and I didn't even know
Right.
it was that many heroes, and
Yeah.
you know these characters, thousands of them And DC Comics, I believe, has like 100 and something, opposed to thousands of the heroes. And Marvel Comics only has a few of people melanated of so-called heroes. You
Exactly.
know,
So
yeah,
it's like the part I was tripping on, like the 12, like the Legion of Justice and
Want me get that for you?
and the Avengers. So the first 12 Avengers from Marvel Comics and the first 12 DC Comics, you know what I mean? 12 of them, the first 12, what the JLA, they come from the 12 Orishas.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, what Stan Lee got that from the original 12 Orishas. So man, it's like they took everything from us, man.
yeah. So pretty much, the 12 Olympians are the representation of the 12 Kemetic gods, um, in that particular spiritual system, which is also the 12 Roman gods, the 12 tribes of Israel, as
Yep,
well as the 12 disciples, the
disciples,
12
yep.
months of the year, the 12 houses of the 12 houses of the zodiac. The Indian god has 12 names. The Norse god had 12 sons, which is Odin. King
Oh,
Arthur, the 12 round tables, the 12 members of the original Justice League. And that's what Superman them. And then you got the 12 members of the alumni of Justice League, which is Captain America. Then you got the 12 X-Men. So
yep.
just let you know right now, they have taken all our stories, definitely
Everything.
from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's one of my books I read. These books that we mentioned, if you don't have them, let me know. I will email them to you. I have the Book of Coming Forth by Day, which is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I also have the Kabbalion. I speak about the Kabbalion all the time because my next thing as far as knowledge that I got into, it was mentalism, and I teach on mentalism a lot because it really helps us as a black man and us as a race to definitely know ourselves and do for self. Once we understand the mind and the mental aspects of it, then we can deal with everything else. These are books that Stan Lee read and he was a fan of. Egyptian
Yep.
Book of the Dead, the Kabbalion, the Hermetica, the original Qing Oracle, the Ptah of Imhotep. I actually have that physical book, the Ptah of Imhotep, which actually is the Proverbs and Psalms in the Bible, and also the Bhagavad Gita. I don't have that book. I think I have it on PDF. But these are some of the books that Stan Lee he had engulfed himself in, and these are the stories that it came from, and also dealing with the 12. You get that also from the 12 Anunnakis, which he studied that as well, and dealing with Anu. So these stories are coming from us, and we have to get into a lot of these stories. Also, the Black Panthers, you know, during that time, during the time when the Black Panthers came, we came out with Black Panther, and I'm gonna give you guys a tip. Look at the wicker seat that the Black Panther is sitting in, and with the oval shape, and look at our guy that played the Black Panther movie. He's sitting in somewhat of a black oval shape, kind of like the wicker seat. Will let you know that it was pleasurized. He could have sat in a square seat or anything, but the Black Panther, my man just passed away. What's his name?
Chadwick
Chadwick
Boseman.
Boseman.
Chaz Bowman. Look, Google it. Google it. He's sitting in somewhat of a black seat, but it has that oval shape. Which another thing, Stan Lee, he leaves breadcrumbs to let us know. One thing about the elite, I'm not saying he is an elite, but this is one of the ways that they deal with us. In the world of commerce, fraud is equiesced. I mean, they allow fraud. If you allow anything like anarchy, which is one of the 5 forms of government, or anything that is unfair, where we know there's public and private law, there's laws of the land and laws of the water. When you allow that, they're not going to outright tell you, but they'll tell you in stories, newspaper articles, TV. They release a lot of truth in science fiction. I watch science fiction for information because they put truth in it. They put truth in it. But yeah, this was a well put together documentary,
Well,
and there's so much to unpack, like Brother Shaka said, because we have to look at everything and where it comes from, and it's time that we do that so we can teach our kids and let them know the empowerment. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that comic book, Brother Voodoo. I had that
yeah,
comic.
I remember that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I had
yeah,
that comic book. You know what I'm saying? And also in this documentary, he spoke about when comics were taking a deep dive, and he
and yeah,
targeted
yeah,
his marketed towards black people.
yeah,
That's how Marvel came back up. So
yeah.
really, I know Marvel, Stan Lee, they own us. They owe us a piece of the pie. That's for sure.
And then I forgot to mention that Superman came from the Kemetic sun god Haru. That's where they
Yes,
got Superman from.
yes,
So everything. They told us where Thor, the mighty Thor, came from Shango.
Django.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So,
Well,
Spider
all
Man.
the reaches,
Spider Man come from a signing, the god of stories. You know what I mean?
go ahead,
well,
Brother Shaka.
all of the reaches, they use
Yeah, they
Shango,
all of
Boxing, Yamo, y'all, Oya, all of those reaches are used to, once again, to, this was just a fertile ground because when you look back on it, when they were programming their children and their generations, because their Superman goes back to the 40s when it was just on radio. And also what Knowledge was saying about the comic books. I remember as a child that uh, we used to collect comic books. Everybody in the black community collected comic books. And I actually learned how to draw a little bit from drawing those particular cartoon characters, those so-called heroes and sheroes and what have you. But once again, it's just the programming. And also when we talk about the 12, you were there, you were you were about to touch. I was waiting on you to touch about the 12 families as well, with the 13 being the top family, which is the 12 bloodlines. The
Yeah,
13 bloodlines, but the 12 bloodlines, and then that particular what we would call the sun, the top hierarchy of those 12 families of the
right.
so-called Illuminati. So it's deeply entrenched in our minds, and so dealing with being a counselor and dealing with mental health and psychoanalysis and dealing with psychosis, that these images, Rocky, it's just not Marvel Comics. It's a whole bunch of other people, which was these comics were a precursor to Rocky, the Terminator, John Wayne, Elvis Presley. See, they were precursors to all of these figures that we were trained to look at as saviors and superstar figures. This is why it took so long until we actually saw images that portrayed us in some level of stardom or entertainment on television. The Jackson Five making their first appearance in 1969 on the Ed Sullivan Show. But prior to all of that, you had Saturday morning, you had John Wayne, um, you had all these white saviors. The cowboys wore white, the good guys the villains wore black, and we were programmed to cheer on our oppressors. And this is the part of the program that still lies into our hearts and minds, that's been passed down in our DNA today. And it goes all the way back to Heru. And this is what myself and Ken, we were building on earlier, that they study us and analyze us more than we analyze ourselves. Because once again, we don't read, we don't do any investigative researching in terms of who we are. You know, we're always going outside of ourselves, looking for strength and power outside of ourselves. And this is why we land, our minds are always looking outside of ourselves for people that don't resemble us, people that don't have our best interests at heart. And we look at them as savior figures. We still do that to this day as a result of this programming that goes back to 1940. You know, how they trained their people to look at themselves as being superior beings. And, you know, even to this day, we're still under that particular programming. We're still under, if it's not as covert as it was then as it is now. It's more overt now. You know, it's more in your face because the programming has been so embedded in our minds and hearts that it's so difficult for us to detoxify our minds, because we don't see those these heroes and sheroes today on a major platform. So it's so much information in that documentary. However, and then as an example of the programming, you're not going to get millions of our people to watch Death of the Gods.
Hey, Sister Nisha Sabaz, she asked who was Superior Man.
Who was Superman?
I guess you tried to say Superman. Tell us what you mean, Sister Nisha Sabaz.
Oh, you talking about Superman? Superman was Kal-El.
Yeah, Kal-El, Sister Nisha
The
Sabaz.
black guy. He got his power from the sun, which is Ra.
Yeah, Ra. Yeah, and then I like the way that they was breaking down how we as black people had a dark matter genoid.
That's the X chromosome.
Yep,
I was just talking about that.
PCSK9.
Yeah. The X chromosome. See, one thing after my debates with certain people, certain groups or certain schools of thoughts, I learned they're just debating politically or from a religious stance. You two brothers know me and know I have to go over and beyond the call of duty, because if I don't do that, I would be just like them. And we all on this platform, we do that as far as our research and our ability to move forward. Now, now get back to the S chromosome. I talked about Henrietta Lacks and on photo 51. You guys could Google that. That is the symbol that's on the X-Men's waist belt on the cartoon. It's the same picture. Check it out. And then, so PT-141, I speak about this, and that is the research of melanin. But PT-141 is considered a sex drug, but they got that from melanin. You have to think about this. From someone who has... Go ahead.
We as African people, we the only one that carry that genoid. That's why they study us so much and try to take our organs and everything like that. No other race of people had that but us.
Right, and I was getting to that. So that's the reason why Black women can't leave the hospital with their placentas. That's another reason why they take all the stem cells. That's another reason why we have even though we have more power to use our pineal gland, but there's another gland that's under the pineal gland, which is the black gland, and they do not know what it is. That's why they don't know what it is. Junk DNA. That's why they try so hard to stop us from unlocking our DNA. That's why I teach all the time and I speak all the time about us as a people coming together, unifying. And I believe that by us coming together, unifying, that will potentially lock some of our DNA. the building of the great minds is very essential to us as a people because we did it more often. There was no separation between upper and lower Kemet. We moved together as a unit, and we used to meet. We used to meet, and then we also used to dialogue and come together with the things that we did find. There is one Egyptian, Kemetic god, which is Imhotep. And when they found Imhotep in that tomb, there were other people in there like Imhotep. So they don't even know what these guys did. But Imhotep was, he was smart. He dealt with medicine, healing, things of that nature. So we was a powerful people. And in that tomb, that will let you know that we were together as unity for us as a people back in that time to put those other tombs in there with Imhotep. And another thing is this: they have not unlocked that DNA. But what they're trying to do, as well as with the double jab and all of that, and giving us this synthetic medication, they're trying to make sure that we do not unlock our DNA. That's why it's good to try to eat clean, stay away from meat. All of us should be herbalists. All of us should know how to grow and plant our own food. I'm talking speaking to us as a people. All of us should know how to make free energy. That's another thing that's coming out on TikTok and Instagram, us building as a people and conducting free energy right out the ether. We should know how to pour water right out the ether. This is nothing new. This is old science. And one thing Shaka said, we don't read. We suffer because we don't read.
Like I'm
And
not.
we also suffer because we do not want to read. We take what they give before us. General Shaka speaks about it all the damn time. We just take the damn plate and eat it. We don't examine what's in the plate. We don't look and see who it's coming from or where the plate came from. We just eat it. And that's one thing I like about Shaka. He speaks about it freely and openly, whereas if it pushes you to be like, man, question everything. Don't sit there and just take it and learn where we come from in the past. Learn how I say it all the time, they have stolen our science, regurgitate information and given it back to us and whitewash everything. That's what they have done.
Heavy programming, and even indirectly, when we look at Gorel and Kal-El, Michael, and what have you, and that's kind of connects that more science piece. So it's real. I mean, we could talk about this. We could discuss the depths of this to next month, and we still won't. We still will have much more to discuss, because this is how deep this movie, this documentary goes. And when you were talking about unification, if you notice when they displayed the 7,000 and 8,000 of their superheroes, all of them had a different agenda. All of them had a different mission. So none of them actually had any squabs or beefs with one another. They were the Justice League. The Justice League, each and every one of them had a particular and divine mission or divine energy, and they work as a unit. And this is where we fall short at, because we think our Justice League is supposed to be one person and a million other people are supposed to be, supposed to dilute or extinguish their mission or their divine energy to follow someone else's personal energy. This is where we get this is how religion has trapped us, because someone else's spiritual experience, and they share it, and they think that their spiritual experience is everybody else's spiritual experience and journey. This is how you have cultism. This is how you have these people that our people are being led blinded into the slaughterhouse because of that type of mindset of some of the people who have divine responsibilities and have been given missions and have sabotaged the missions and have went against the grain of the universe. So, you know, that unification is extremely important. And the you know, but like I said, you know, that was one of the things that really stuck out was how they used that dark villain, to make him a villain, and which led to the lynchings of a lot of our innocent ancestors being lynched and falsely accused of being accused of touching, you know, these Neanderthal women. And so, because most of those cartoons are like that, you know, the white woman is, you know, the house is burning, you know, the superhero swings and off vines and flies in the air and do everything that he possibly could. Even in King Kong, where they had the savage, it's supposed to have been the savage black ape, the gorilla.
Right.
Put everything to the side to carry the white woman, and then fell in love with the white woman. You know,
and you know what, man? Like I had told both, I like stuff with a lot of information. I'm 54 years old now, and I'm just not finding it. I mean, like I knew some things, but how the documentary was well documented and well put together, man, we should have been knowing about stuff like this. You know, it's just we just don't know. Hey,
you just got it at the right time, Kent. You got it at the right time, because if you had got 10 years ago, you probably would have been burnt out trying to do lectures and talk to people that were far more comatose than they are today. So you would probably have given up on even talking about it again. So and we never want to be in a position, because I don't never want to keep saying that I saw this or I know this person and know that person. You know, this was a spiritual journey watching this, you know, because there was a lot of things that I didn't know. And for us to have grown up with comic books and having all these action figures and all of this type of stuff, to actually know what we were actually
all of it was stolen from us.
Yes.
And then the thing about that, man, they still trying to tap into our dominant gene. They still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, let me before we start, brother, let me give a shout out to the people on the chat line. Give them a special shout out, because you know they showing this love on here. You know, black power to the sister Nisha Sabaz. Peace and black power to Veronica Garcia. Peace and black power to the sister Netta Bees. Brother Tex Johnson. Peace and black power. Black power to the sister Yvette, Mama Earth. I'm calling her by name, Mama Earth.
Mama Earth.
And then, you know, peace and black power to the brother Wilbur Harris, man. We appreciate y'all for joining the feed. And you know, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this to our page and like and make a comment. We appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
Now, one thing about me, I like to drop it. So IPCC is the International Pigment Cell Conference. The last conference was in Switzerland. Switzerland is a very demonic place. That's where a lot of rituals take place and everything. They also have another conference, an annual conference meeting. It's called the Melanoma Research Foundation. That's
you always tell me about that one too.
Yeah, the MRF. Now, these conferences attract leader experts, researchers from around the world. The only thing they are interested in is the power of melanin, the biochemistry of melanin. They trying to understand and master the molecule structure of the biosynthesis and degrading the pathways of melanin. That's another one they're dealing with. They're dealing with the melanin and skin biology. So when they're doing that, they are investigating the role of melanin as far as skin pigmentation. They're dealing with melanin and health. They exploring the implications of melanin health and disease and the role that it plays in cancer, and also dealing with immunity and immune responses, melanin-based technologies. They discussing the development of melanin-inspired materials, coating, and dealing with the biochemical applications of melanin itself. Also, they're trying to get into the significance of the complex structure of melanin. So this is only dealing with black people.
Right.
All the stuff I just said, the Wazungu, the European is obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And you're not obsessed with yourself. Shaka said all the time. I said all the time. Ken said all the time. If you're not impressed with yourself, if this is one thing right here, you should love yourself. The powers that be having a conference about you, but you only have a conference about yourself. That's just crazy. So take the time and start with this movie, The Death
Right.
of the Black Gods, Superheroes. Check the movie out.
We
Go
catch
in
it out
and get, and it's kind of like a Hidden Colors, but it's a little bit more detailed. And one thing Shaka pointed out, the original creator of Tarzan, his thing was to create something, that a character that killed the beast and black men. He said it himself in his own literature. This is what he created. And I just gave you the IPCC, and I gave you the I think it's the MRF. These people having conferences about melanin. Listen, they have a conference about
let me ask you. Let me ask you something. How often do they have these conferences?
The last conference in 2003 in Switzerland. I seen another one for 2002. I did not see one for 2001, but I did see one for 2000. I mean, yeah, 2022.
Yeah,
And
Shelly said every 5 to 7 years.
Okay, every 5 to 7 years. Yeah, they
Mama
did have one in 2023 and 2022.
Yeah, I think Mama Earth had mentioned that same thing in her comics too, in the comics.
Yeah. And I also got another. I forgot about this. It just hit my mind. The American Society of Pigment Cell Research. So I mean, listen, man. It's just me right now. I'm excited. You know why I'm excited? Because when I learn bits and parts of my history, I get bits and parts of my history from everybody. I learned something from Shaka dealing with boxing. When I was a little boy, I heard about it, and just so happened Shaka know these people. You know what I'm saying? He knows the story. He knows the story. So me myself, I learn from everybody, and we should be doing the same. That's why I've been encouraging us as Black people to write your books, put your story out. It's time out for them putting our stories out. Over 90% of our information is written by Europeans. Put your story out, whatever you find, whatever you dissect. I don't care if it's a 75, 100-page book. I don't care what it is. Put it out.
Yeah, Dr. Wilson, she used to attend those melanin conferences. I think it was Dr. Clark. I'm not sure if Nearly Fuller. It was a few people that attended the melanin conferences back in. I know the last one that I actually have heard about was in the 90s, but they work on us every single day. And what we have to do is understand and train our minds that when we look at everything, we're looking at us, and it's, for those who still are under this programming. If we're talking about decades of programming, of white Barbie dolls and easy bake ovens and G.I. Joes and Johnny West and, Nintendos and all of this stuff, this is a lot of programming. And so it has to be a lot of mental detoxification that has to take place in order for us to clear some of the smoke so we can actually see who we are. Because when we look, everything is us. Everything, and we have to understand that we are the creators of everything. We were the first people here. We're going to be the last ones to leave. And our people don't understand this, and that's based on this programming. How the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Hindus, how they formatted our great illustrious history, formatted, plagiarized it, put it into books, sold it to us, forced it to us, crammed it down our throats, convinced us that we weren't nothing, convinced us that we were subordinate, that we were less than, and we still have those remnants. And some of us have massive amounts of that self-hatred and that low self-esteem, that low self-worth, and that self-oppression that resonates not just in our minds, but in our blood, in our cells, in our blood.
You
That
know
we
why?
have to think
Because
that.
you know why? One of the reasons why, Brother Shah, because lack of knowledge. We simply don't know. We simply don't know, man. I'm gonna give a shout out to Sister Soldier and the Sister Queen Goddess Hope and Veronica L. We Facebook friends. I didn't know that was you, so I got you, sister. All right.
And it's amazing, and it's quite ironic that these goddesses are on this forefront.
Right.
You know, peace and blessings to all that have are viewed into the show. They are great goddesses, all of them. But this is the programming that we're under. This is the hypnosis that we're under, because apparently it's a basketball game on, or some shit, some Tyler Perry shit. It's something going on, or people still eating leftover pork chops and spare ribs from Memorial Day. Something is going on that has the black man not ingesting that he's the superpower of the world. He is the superhuman man of the planet.
Right. Yeah.
When we're not internalizing that to the point where we're activating it. This is why I always say on my show, you have to walk and talk like gods and goddesses. You got to conduct yourself as such, because you have to know this. You have to actually know this. You can't talk your way into to your God self. This has to be programmed. You have to reprogram yourself. So when people have told me that I was brainwashed, that was a compliment. Yeah, my brain has been washed clean of this materialistic white supremacist mindset. And so, it's important that, and it goes back to what Knowledge was saying about the unification of our people. We have to allow people their own individuality, because our ancestors and the universe has designated all of us in particular missions and journeys. We all have something different. We all have a different road, but we're still all on that same highway, and we have to understand that. And once we understand that and bring that cohesiveness among us as a people, then and only then will we be able to move forward, and we'll be able to see the whole play. Because they work on us like the International Pigment Cell Conference. This is a conference where they're talking about cells, black cells. How can we manipulate the black cells to fit us, so we can have this superpower, so we can have this God frequency and God energy. They work 24/7. When we sleep, dancing and twerking and partying, they're in the labs. They're in the laboratories, and they get paid royally, and they come up with these inventions, and then, now you have, and they working hard, because now you got BBLs and, white women trying to look like sisters, and, you got white boys wanting to have the strength of black gods, and they work constantly. They never sleep. We're the only ones that sleep on them. And so the reading is important. Reading is important. They used to tell us reading is fundamental, but we should change that to reading is mandatory. Right. Reading is mandatory. And so we have to learn to do that, even if it's 1 page a day, 3 paragraphs a day. Because we know this, when we talked about the sleep demon, the sleep demon always come to us when we start reading or doing something positive. So, we got to get back into that. And unfortunately, probably we'll have to be forced back to our own devices. I don't see any other way that we can come to any type of understanding on who we are until we all are in dire straits, until we all are put into a corner where we have no other choice but to activate that goddess energy.
That's right.
Hey, I want to say peace and black power to my cousin Gerald Moore. Peace and black power, brother. You know I love you, brother. We love you.
Captain Gerald.
Captain Gerald, what's going on? A key thing that Knowledge said, that Shaka said was reading. The acquisition of knowledge, it exposes a vast of information, allowing you to learn in different ways, for us like your everyday life, your culture, your perspective, and you can pull a lot out of that. When I started reading, I'm gonna be real, I couldn't read. I took a page at a time. I looked up words. I was a B.C. student in school, according to their curriculum. But when I fell in love with our people, I started improving. I started writing down vocabulary words on index cards. When you read, it helps improve your vocabulary, your language skills, your grammar. It also helps you understand. It enhances your critical thinking. It allows you to move in a way where you will not take everything face value that they put before you, because it allows you to form your own creativity, your imagination, and it would allow you to think for yourself. That's one thing I got when I started reading more, and after that, I learned how to skim and scam, dealing with different topics in books. After I learned how to deal with that, dealing with different topics in books, I start pulling out key things, key phrases, memorizing them, going back to the book. Then I go through it again. We got to read. It's important. When Shaka said that, it just hit me with something, because that was one of the things that I suffered in. But I'm gonna say this too. My wife has been showing me videos on TikTok where teachers have been coming on and saying how dumb these kids are. They are messing up the curriculum system that they did have in place, where you could get a little bit of education. Now, these kids don't even have common sense. They're not gonna get no education. They cannot read, and this present curriculum is making them illiterate. Brother Shaka has a degree in dealing with psychology. That's dealing with the mind. This brother has a degree in dealing with psychology, and his thing is kids, is the youth, is studying youth, and he also is grounded on a basis of empowerment, and not just empowerment, but also moving you in a way where you don't need to have counsel and things of that nature. He moves in a fashion of mastering yourself. That's one key things that I dive into for as mastering the mind. I'm saying that to say that reading is essential. I'm like him. Read a sentence a day. If you don't understand the word, Google it. You have a smartphone. Look up what you want to look up. We walk around with Androids and iPhones all day long. We mention these superheroes. Logan is Ogun. Look it up. We mentioned the Anunnakis. Look it up. We mentioned the 12 tribes of Judah, the 12 tribes of the Romans, King Arthur. Look these things up. Get the knowledge, get the history, connect the dots. One thing about me, I connect the dots, and I do that by me taking an unbiased opinion and also dealing with the spirituality aspects of it. In the Bible, one of the fruits of the spirit is temperance, that's self-control. Then in the Bible, it tell you to be not conformed to this world, but be renewed by renewing your mind. In the Quran, it tell you to think for self, do for self, and to know thyself. You get into Judaism and Buddhism, is dealing with oneself. And in every esoteric circle, they're teaching you to master yourself. That's why this man, Brother Shaka, has a psychology. He's teaching you how to master yourself. Because if you don't master yourself, we ain't got no unity. We ain't read. We constantly letting the Europeans, the Wazungu, take what's ours, regurgitate it, and feed it back to us. And they're not even giving us the proper formula, because there's the words are mixed up in it. As you watch this movie, and as he break it down from Kemet all the way to the Romans, all these names have been changed. That means we're getting bad names. So it's good for you to research so you can get the proper names.
So
Well,
what can you give the people a, a synopsis or some groundwork in terms of where they may want to start? Because like you said, that you got the dictionary and the thesaurus and all that, and the
Right.
Black Law Dictionary in your phone. You
Yeah.
walk around with your whole the whole lineage of our existence in your phone. So what would be a good starting point?
I actually started with Behold the Pale Horse. But I'm gonna say this: a lot of these titles to these books, you can Google it, and on the end of it, put PDF, put free ebook. Sometimes you can download it right to your phone, and you can hit the voice command on your phone, and it'll read it for you if you're not a reader. That's another thing. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's one of Stan Lee books that he loved to read.
yeah,
Um, um, excuse me, the Kabbalion. I speak about the Kabbalion all the time because one of the first laws of Jehuti is mentalism, and there is no Chris Magistus. It's Jehuti, and that comes from Kemet. That's the guy who is called Thought. His zoomorphic form is the ibis bird. So that's him. The Hermetica. That's another book. If you don't have these books, I will send them to you. You can email Vokal Dialect, VOKALDIALECT at gmail.com. I will send you a free PDF. If I don't have it, I will send you what I have. I have over a terabyte of information dealing with books. Another book that Stan Lee was reading was the Bahata Gita. That's a book. The Patah Imhotep. That book is free online. I know it because I just saw it. The original Qing Oracle. That's on there as well. And then I tell people this: when you start reading, learn where you come from. Start in that area. Google terms. The average man only knows a certain amount of words. We're supposed to know many words. We already been robbed of our natural tongue, real economics, real science, real history. So we've been robbed in those areas. We need to brush ourselves up on those areas. Learn where you come from. What original tongue did we speak? I think the last tongue we spoke was Swahili. So you got the phone, use it. You got the smartphone, you can use it. You can put your earbud in or some headphones, and your phone will voice read anything that you highlight.
hey, knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Um, Veronica L said something in the comment. Could you read it? Read
Veronica
it.
L. She said your wisdom is so right. The portrayal of the youth is meant to discourage. But Dr. Amos Wilson, that's another author. We could start with Dr. Amos Wilson.
Right, right.
Destruction of Black Civilization. That's another book. And always said
Yeah,
excellence is inherent in the black child. It's programming that is suppressing it. And what she mean by that is what Ken be talking about and Shaka, how we follow what they tell us to do. We got to buck the system and read because they constantly taking from us and they never giving nothing to us. And when it's like that, it must be something to it. These people are so obsessed with us, they formed a whole ology, created a whole ology,
yeah,
Egyptology.
yeah. But see, we gotta realize we had a power because for one thing, they can't live without us. They can't. It's
Right.
impossible. That's why. That's why they studying us so much. You know what I mean? They'll never get that dominant gene that we have. They still trying to get it.
They also, when they went to Kemet, George Leakey, when they dug up all of those tombs, they just didn't dig up the tombs.
Hold on. Mama Earth, she said she need a list of the books you just named. Hey, Mama Earth,
I
send
got it.
you
I
got it.
got it.
Okay. Go ahead, brother Shock.
They did, George Leakey, when they went into Kemet and those tombs and the Giza pyramids, step pyramids, and what have you, They just didn't dig for just the bodies. You know, they were scraping DNA. They were scraping DNA from those gods and goddesses. You know, I mean the gold tombs and all that wasn't you know, that was a bonus, but that wasn't their divine mission. That wasn't their intention. They wanted to get that DNA, and they still probably got some of the DNA, and they still use that today. And even they have gone as far as building these plasma centers, like you discussed, Ken. You had mentioned the other night, these plasma centers in the Black community. They just don't want blood; they want the plasma. They
and
want
there's a lot of them down here. A lot of them. You sell your blood for what, $40 or $50, man.
a pint. You know, $40, $50 a pint, because you know it's the plasma that they want. It's that DNA. You know, it's so much that they take from us and use against us, and they put it right in our face with all these new inventions, even down to the foods, even down to the cereals, even in the clothing, everything. And so you know, we can't get upset at an inferior being for trying to reach a level of superiority when the people that are superior are asleep and comatose. And so as long as people keep us in this mummified state, now I'm talking about spiritually paralyzed, mentally castrated, and emotionally distraught, and hooked on sensationalism, they will continue to move forward in the progression of annihilating us by way of biological and chemical warfare. And biological, that's the science. That's the science of taking our genetic makeup. And we actually don't want to deal with that, because we look at it as it's too deep or too far-fetched. But you know, you'll never understand who you are until you go from the beginning point, till you go all the way back as far as you can go and make those particular connections on that spiritual realm, on that spirit realm, and understand who we really are. Who we really are. They teach us that we broke away from slavery.
Right.
Juneteenth's coming up. You know, we're gonna celebrate that, and Emancipation Day in DC. Everybody's jumping around like these are the type of maneuvers and tactics and these antics, you know, disguised as holidays, that they use against us and keep us blinded. You know, while they run these massive plays on us. You know, and then we can't figure out why we're dying at such a rate that we're actually deteriorating, you know, physically now. They've already deteriorated a lot of our minds and our hearts and our spirits through religion, foods, drugs, sex, music, you know, and so it's important that we take that initiative, man, to take this rigorous, you know, relentless, uncompromising course and journey into, you know, studying our rich, illustrious history, because we are the gods and goddesses. We are.
Hey, man, like I said, man, it kind of, I'm not going to say pissed off, because, you know, I ain't going to say pissed off, but it kind of irritates me by me not knowing a lot of this stuff, man. It irritates me. You know, it felt like years ago when I first got into knowing myself, knowing thyself. You know what I mean?
How can you know, but don't get pissed.
A lot of stuff that we simply don't know.
If somebody blindfolded you and put you in a dark room, and you run into all types of walls, you may fall on the floor, you may stumble and trip, and at some point, something can remove that blindfold from you where you're able to see. You can't get mad because you run into these walls because you couldn't see. You were blinded. You were blinded by so much,
Yeah,
because a lot of times, to be honest, a lot of us have to spend the bulk of our time as a result of not reading. We have to spend the bulk of our time trying to survive. And so we have waived that opportunity of having that particular time or that particular hour or two to actually study and read. And when we were coming up, all of us were, as children, we always had a period of time to do homework or to do study. And when I went to school, they had study hall. So
yeah,
Yep. Sure did.
now it's not. Now that things are so in disarray on all levels of our existence that we have to spend the bulk of our time trying to survive, and
yeah,
and, and it's the fault of us. It's the fault of us. So we got to look within ourselves, and the way we do that is we begin to repair ourselves on all levels. So we all been blindfolded, Ken. We all been in them dark rooms and ran into walls and got knots all over our heads and stuff because we've been
yeah,
blindfolded. We've been blindfolded, but a lot of the veils have been taken off a lot of us. Now that we can see, you know, we're just trying to be beacons of hope and beacons of light to go in those dark rooms in the minds of our people and try to take those blindfolds off of them by dispersing information and podcasts and live shows and conferences and festivals and things like that. That's a process of removing those blindfolds. So you're right where you're
hey,
supposed to be, man. You're right. You're exactly where you're supposed to be in this day and age, right where you at today.
yeah. He telling the truth. I believe I am where I'm supposed to be right now because um my earlier years of life, I wasn't ready for this. I was too much in the streets.
Right,
I
right,
was too
yeah,
much
right,
trying to be the man, and
right,
can't where we come from. It was important to try to be the
right,
man, and yet, I was being the wrong man. And you can
right.
ask my wife. My wife said I really changed when I got into consciousness and knowledge. She said knowledge changed, and I believe this is what I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna continue to speak truth to power. I keep my circle small. There's not a lot of brothers that I really confide in. These brothers on here I do because these are my brothers. You know, and I haven't known Shaka a very long time, but the brother is solid. You know what I'm saying? And where we come from, solid means a lot.
Yeah,
Especially in the Midwest. Um, the ability to speak the way he do in a powerful setting and to be vocal the way he is vocal, truly, he knows his assignment. And being around my brother Ken Water, me and him, been around each other, and we done been on situations on set, on site. Ain't nobody saying nothing to us. I'm not saying we them dudes, but it's just the way our energy is moving and how and how we are in a certain situation or a certain environment, and it is what it is at that point. But any last words, fellas, before we end the show?
I just want to say this, man. Me and the brother Shaka was talking a little bit earlier. I think Mama Earth was on. Yeah, Mama Earth with Mama Earth as well. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. We talking about being united, man. This is what I believe. We not gonna ever because we too far all over the place as a people. You know what I mean? I mean, in every category, every category. We not gonna unite until we are forced to be united. And that day is coming. That day is coming.
Exactly. And what Knowledge was saying about not being that dude, we are those dudes. We are those dudes. Just like these sisters, they are the goddesses. It took the streets, it took traumatization, it took all of this to mold us to where we're at today. you know. And this is why I always say the ancestors and the creator have seen us fit because we have paid, stood the test of time. We have undergone some things, man, that most people have succumbed to. And so it was deemed. We've been stamped and certified. So we are those dudes, Captain Gerald and all these sisters on the line. We are those people, man. You know, and this is why we're going to have to, like you said, Ken, we're going to have to be forced.
Yeah.
Because of the programming is so embedded and entrenched in the minds and hearts of our people, man, that the only way that the masses of our people are going to actually respond and actually get it is we have to be, you know, it's like when you get in trouble, you go to the juvie place, that's not enough. And you go to the county jail, that's not enough. But when you get to the penitentiary, you begin to see the light. You begin to see that light for real, and you begin to come to some level of understanding that this is not the spot. And that's the same way with our people out here. They all of these little vices and stuff is going to take its course, and it's going to lead us into a corner where we have no other alternatives but to unite, unify, or die. You know, and I would rather die trying to unify than to not unify and die.
Yeah, and I always believe that, hey, we gonna end the show on, man, appreciate you, General Shaka. You know, man, always good to have
Right,
you.
brother.
Shaka, man. Salute to
Hey,
Shaka.
we would like to thank everyone that tuned in to this live feed. We love y'all. We're going live next Monday. We appreciate the support. We love y'all. Man, hit that like button so we get more into the algorithm and hit all notifications to this YouTube channel. We love y'all.
Peace.
Hey,
Peace.
family, it's a lot of books in the chat. I like the information. I love knowledge. I'm you know, man, check out some of them books. You know, you ain't got them, email me. I'll try to send them to you on a digital form. And check out the movie, the Death of the Black God, Superheroes.
Tell them where you can find them at Tubi and also Prime.
Prime. Yeah, so check it out. You know, like, comment, and subscribe. And always, we not scared to bring no information on any platform. And we try to do our best. And we try to exceed every expectation. And we try to treat the people how we would want to be treated.
That's
Peace and love, family, man. We out of here. Peace.
And let's give a shout out to our comrades who wasn't able to join this feed. The sister Queen Goddess Hope and our brother Obasi Kente, man. We see you next week.
Queen Goddess, Obasi.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh.